All right, video number 1, guys. 10 scariest players in NBA history. Chat, who do you think is going to be number 1? I want to hear it from you guys, and let's see if you're right or wrong.
I think Shaq.
Shaq. Shaq's a friendly giant. He's scary on the court, but
Nah, man. If he's running after you, it's like a stampede coming after you.
stampede. He's like a rhino. Shaq is a beast. Ben Wallace, Charles Oakley, a couple Bens. I don't even know who Ben Wallace is. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. Let's see if your assumptions are right or wrong.
Oh, wait. What about Draymond Green?
Draymond Green.
He's quite scary.
He is a scary man.
What he's going to do to you, man.
Is he going to pick you up from the floor, or is he going to boot you in the face?
Exactly.
Draymond's on it. All right, let's check this out. Let's go.
These players put fear in their opponents' hearts, not because of their skill or the number of points they were scoring, but because of their sheer physical strength and willingness to throw hands at any given moment.
Damn.
This is a list of players that nobody wanted to mess with, the scariest NBA players of all time.
Let's go.
There were plenty of NBA players who could fight, but only one was a real MMA fighter, James Johnson, a 6'7", 240-pound power forward who currently plays for the Pacers, was a lead vote-getter in a survey of who in the league would you least like to fight. Since he was 5 years old, Johnson trained karate and is a black belt. He's also competed in kickboxing with a 20-0 amateur record and a 7-0
20-0 amateur kickboxing record. That's wild. He's in the wrong sport, man.
Listen, if he's number 10, who the hell's number 1?
We're going to find out.
That's what I want to know.
No MMA record. He even said that he could beat John Jones if he had enough time to train wrestling.
I can beat him for real. But like I said, with a year of training defense, I just need ground defense.
The whole league would say the same thing. One player said of Johnson, "That's not smoke they want. I've seen it in person." And it's easy to be a bully when you're one of the biggest and strongest guys in the court.
Yeah.
But how about being one of the most terrifying players in the NBA while weighing less than 200 pounds? Vernon Maxwell was listed at 6'4" and 180 pounds, but his nickname Mad Max says everything you need to know.
Guys, when your nickname is Mad Max, which is behind the computer game, and Mad Max is a crazy motherfucker in the computer game, you know you're about business.
Oh, damn.
They don't call you Mad Max unless you're mad.
Goodness.
During his career, Maxwell was fighting everybody: guards, centers, opponents, teammates, and even spectators.
Oh my God.
While he was in Houston, Max got into a heated argument with teammate Hakeem Olajuwon and nearly stabbed him to death. But Mad Max didn't stop there, because in 2000, when he played for Seattle, Mad Max wanted to beat up another teammate, Gary Payton. Vernon wanted to fight Payton so bad that he ended up hurting 2 of his teammates who tried to be peacemakers. And this next guy also dabbled in MMA, but he also happens to be the most physically dominant player of all time. During his prime, Shaq weighed between 330 and 370.
So he's not number 1.
So Fat's got someone on the list.
Yeah.
He's not far from number 1, but he's on there.
Okay.
And look at his weight.
One is Draymond Green.
Draymond Green's got to be on here.
He has to be, man.
And yet, he could move like a ballet dancer. His combination of size, strength, and agility was unmatched, and nobody could stop the Shaq attack. Not only was Shaq dominant, he was also vicious towards his opponents.
I mean, this guy was a force. He was mean. He was nasty.
The morning after you played with Shaq, it always felt like you were in a fight. You were sore from head to toe. Muhammad.
You're looking at him
rough.
like the fear that you might get is he's doing that full speed thing. Am I really going to try and take a charge?
That's what I said.
You got to get away.
Time guarded Shaq. Only player ever to not shoot anything outside of the paint and dominate.
And when it comes to Shaq's dear frenemy on Inside the NBA, it's safe to say he had a little temper as well. Charles Barkley.
We never saw that side until we saw his highlight video.
Yeah.
And he was knocking out the mascots. He was knocking out everyone.
I didn't think he would be like a player to fear, though. That's interesting.
But he was fighting on that.
It's true.
Barkley was an undersized big man, standing at only 6'6", but he was athletic, extremely physical, and wasn't backing down from anybody. Barkley's lists of fights and on-court incidents is extremely long, starting with this forearm knockdown, or that time when he single-handedly fought the Bad Boy Pistons. Barkley's career was even in jeopardy at one point, because he was not only fighting on the court, but also getting into brawls with civilians, like that time in 1997, when he got arrested after throwing a man through a glass window at a bar, or in 1991, when Sir Charles infamously spat on a young girl sitting in the crowd while aiming to spit on someone else. When you combine that with all the fighting, cursing, and trash talk, Chuck was one of the baddest to ever lace him up. But how about...
Guys, get a link ready, yeah? I want to watch his, what would you call it?
his fight lights.
Yeah.
Fight lights?
I want to see his fight lights.
Yeah, that's what I don't know if that's the official name, but that's what we're going to call it.
You guys know what I'm trying to say, innit? Just get that link ready.
Crazy.
Being one of the craziest. Ron Artest served an 86-game suspension for the most gruesome incident in NBA history.
Oh my
but that was
God.
just one of his many incidents on the court. From the moment he arrived in the league in 1999 until he won a championship with Kobe in 2010, Artest was one of the most physical and aggressive defenders that nobody wanted to play against. In 2001, when Jordan
He's a
was
beast.
prepping for his second unretirement, Artest broke his ribs in a pickup game. But beyond being a world-class defender and a Defensive Player of the Year, Ron instilled fear in opponents because he was a wild man. Artest drank alcohol before and even during games, and he'd always play on the edge of getting ejected. In 2003, he nearly fought Pat Riley and the whole Miami Heat bench. And that same year, in a game against the Knicks, Ron got so mad that he destroyed some poor cameraman's equipment. You'd think that he'd calm down after serving his suspension for the Malice at the Palace, but Artest just
he was part of the
continued
Malice
to
at the
punch people
Palace.
in the face.
You know what? Do you remember the Malice at the Palace, the mad fight with the Piston fans?
Oh,
Yeah, he was part of that. But you know what? From when athletes mix their sport with alcohol, that's a dangerous combination. Shouldn't be doing that. He was probably drunk in that situation. You
Yeah.
could tell he was not stopping.
But then, like the commentator said, he would drink while he's playing and before his game.
Oh, Reloading said he's the one that caused the Malice in the Palace. That's crazy if that's true. I've got who caused it when we reacted to it, but yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
In 2007, Artest had to spend 20 days in jail for another off-court incident because he beat up his wife.
Oh,
but
damn.
despite changing
He's
his
one of
name
them
to
ones.
Meta World Peace in 2011, his old habits remained, just as James Harden.
Oh,
A
that
decade
was him
before
that got
Artest started
elbowed.
punching people on NBA courts, one particular bully was more terrifying than anybody. Charles Oakley came into the league in 1985, and he quickly gained a
think someone
reputation
mentioned
for
his
being an
name.
enforcer. When you
Hash.
needed a hard
Guys,
foul, Oakley was there.
someone
When a
mentioned
fight broke
Oakley.
out between
Yeah, quite a few
players,
people.
Oak was right in the middle of it. In 1989, he squared up against Xavier McDaniel, another colorful character who could easily be on this list. In the 1996 preseason, Oakley and Barkley got tangled up on a
not
rebound, and
Charles.
Oakley tossed Barkley to the floor. Didn't matter that it was preseason, as both players immediately started swinging and got ejected. During the 1997 playoffs, Oak got into a fight with Alonzo Mourning, and next year, these two hotheads got into it again. In 2000, Oakley punched Clippers guard Jeff McInnes after a dispute over a mutual romantic interest. Oakley didn't even wait for the game to start. He punched McInnes during a pregame shoot-around. But maybe the biggest ass-whooping Oakley ever dealt was that of Tyrone Hill, who Oakley beat up over a gambling debt. Even after he retired from the league, Oak wasn't done fighting, as there were several reports of him beating up people who dared to step up to him. However, Oakley wasn't all
Gambling
brute
debt,
and
you know.
no heart, and he's the main reason one other scary guy even made it to the NBA. When he was a high school kid, Ben Wallace attended Charles Oakley's basketball camp, and Oakley, being Oakley, punched him in the face.
Got the ball, drive to the basket, bam. Pull me in the lip, split my joint.
Because he showed no fear and played with tenacious energy, Oakley immediately fell in love with Wallace's game, and he recommended him to his alma mater, Virginia Union University. Without Oakley, Big Ben might have never played in the NBA, but
Big
once he made the
Ben.
league, he showed immediately that he was made of the same material as his mentor. At 6'9", Wallace was
Oh
the
my
shortest center
God.
in the league, but they called him Big Ben for a reason. See, Ben was a fitness freak who never left the gym and could bench 400 pounds. Due to his
Oh, that's 400 pounds. Guy,
So he's tall, he's athletic and strong. Don't mess with him.
400 pounds in kg. He's benching 180. That's a lot of weight, man. He's
That
a
is a
strong
lot.
guy.
muscular body, mean face, and crazy afro. Nobody was messing with him.
Yeah,
and
he's a
it
beast.
didn't end well for the ones who tried. Honorable mention goes to his teammate Rasheed Wallace, a guy who couldn't control his anger and who played like a ticking time bomb. Sheed was a walking technical foul, and he's the all-time leader in techs in a season with 41. But two Wallaces are not the baddest Detroit big men of all time. That title belongs to Bill Laimbeer and Rick Mahorn, who put the bad in the Bad Boy Pistons. There wasn't an NBA player in the 80s who wasn't punched, elbowed, or shown to the floor by Detroit's big men, and they long had a reputation for being the dirtiest players ever, especially Laimbeer. While Mahorn was setting hard screens and throwing punches,
I love to play defense. I like to bump and bang, I guess. And that's what's basically has been my job.
Laimbeer was also notorious for planting his feet in the player's landing space, which resulted in plenty of ankle injuries.
Never really ever
Oh, so when they step on the
any social
ankle.
situation. No. Yeah.
and it's because he's a dirty player.
And the final part of the Bad Boys front court
I can see why they implemented so many rules into basketball now to avoid stuff like this. Imagine this was happening now. Like, that's kind of crazy.
Oh, definitely. Can't have that happening.
Man, like Big Ben was just taking out everyone.
trio played the hardest of them all. Dennis Rodman was called the Worm, but his other nickname, Dennis the Menace, probably suits him even better.
That's cool.
Playing with unlimited energy, Rodman would get in opponents' faces. He'd trip them, annoy them, and not let them breathe.
What I'm seeing, the battle between these two guys.
That's smothering
They're fighting,
them.
giving it everything they got.
Dennis wasn't the scariest player ever, but he was certainly one of the most irritating and physically difficult to play against. Nobody had an easy night against Rodman. And this next player was far from the biggest or the strongest, yet nobody wanted to mess with him, not even Shaq. Standing at 6'6" and
Not even
220
Shaq.
pounds, he may not look like a bruiser, but Jerry Stackhouse was a bad man. And
Yo, his last name is Stackhouse. Yo, he's about business. Have you noticed a lot of old school players?
Yeah.
So I think back then, yeah, it was just different.
That's true. There's no one actually current
Yeah,
in
not
there.
really,
Like you
yeah.
said, they've cracked down on the rules.
Yeah, that's why. And a lot of basketball fans say like the referees ruin basketball
Yeah.
because of stuff like that. But I feel like it's needed, man. They
Yeah.
can't carry on a professional sport like that.
you didn't want to get angry. Stackhouse's fists have a long list of NBA faces on their resume. In 1996, he landed a couple of big haymakers on Jeff Hornacek during a game. In 97, Stack punched Allen Iverson in the face in practice, who was one of his
Damn,
best
in
friends on the
practice.
Sixers. However, if you think
That
that
was his
Stack
friend.
only went after little guys, think twice. In 99, Stackhouse beat the hell out of 6'10" Christian Laettner over a gambling debt. But the coup de grace of his fighting career happened.
What's up with all these gambling debts?
Yeah,
This is
what's
like some
happening?
casino mob ties. Like, are they part of the triads or something? I mean, why is there so much gambling there? Like, these are professional athletes. What the?
Yeah, what's
In
happening?
2005, when he brutally beat down Jazz rookie Kirk Snyder. After the game in which Snyder provoked Stackhouse, Jerry asked his equipment manager for a tracksuit so he wouldn't mess up his suit. He then walked to the Jazz bus and put a smackdown on Snyder.
We were in the game. He gave
My
me a
God.
cheap shot. I just kind of lost it. I wasn't worried about the game anymore. So now I just waited for him in the tunnel.
After which, arena security testified that Snyder received a severe beating. Treating it like
God.
any other day at the office, Stackhouse returned to the locker room, calmly handed over the tracksuit to the equipment manager, and put on his suit and tie like nothing happened.
You know what his favorite line is? These fists are rated E for everybody. He just starts smoking people with them.
Yeah.
He don't give a fuck,
No.
this guy.
In the 2006 finals, after he fouled Shaq super hard, nobody from the Heat said a thing to Jerry, and even Shaq just walked away.
Yeah, Shaq
And
don't
the
want it.
last, but not least scary person on this list
Number
will
one.
always be remembered for his violence, and not for his 4 All-Star appearances. It's Latrell Sprewell, whose career lowlight
Never
is
heard
the
of him.
1997 choking of PJ Carlesimo, his coach on the Golden State Warriors. Carlesimo yelled at Sprewell to try a little harder in practice, and wanted him to put a little mustard on his passes. Spree was in a bad mood that day, and something triggered him to attack his coach. Latrell threatened to kill his coach, and started dragging him backward by the throat like a rag doll,
Was trying to
proceeding
kill
to
him.
choke out Carlesimo for a good 10 seconds before he got pulled away by his teammates. After he spent 10 minutes in the locker room, Spree still wasn't satisfied and
Oh
came
my
back to
God.
attack his coach again. Because of apparent marks on Carlesimo's neck, the NBA issued an investigation and suspended Sprewell for 68
Whoa.
games without
Big
pay. But
suspension.
this wasn't the only
found
beating of
his coach.
Spree's career.
Tried
In
to kill him.
1995, he beat up teammate Jerome Kersey and then returned to practice with a 2x4, threatening to kill Kersey. Then, to top it off, in 2002, he came
Bruh, this guy's got
the
the face of a
2x4,
killer. Look at
threatening
that.
to kill Kersey. Then,
Mean
to top
mugging,
it off,
man. You're telling me this guy ain't a killer? Bro, don't have a gambling debt with this guy because you're not waking up.
Yeah,
If you got a gambling debt on this guy, you're fucked.
basically.
in 2002, he came to the Knicks practice camp with a broken hand, which he broke after an assault on his yacht. And before we finish this off, here's a couple of honorable
God.
mentions of the scariest
No
guys ever.
Draymond Green,
There's
though.
Karl Malone,
I'm not
the
shocked,
all-time
though,
leader in technical
'cause this is,
fouls
like,
and the
intense.
unofficial
Yeah.
all-time leader in elbows thrown. Then there's Kenyon Martin, who made a career out of being tougher and meaner than his opponents. Kevin Garnett made most rookies' lives a living hell. Ivan Johnson was called Ivan the Terrible and made people uncomfortable just by his presence. And the 2 hosts of the All Smoke podcast were no strangers to a fistfight. Javaris Crittenden, Anthony Mason, David West, Quincy Acey, and Udonis Haslem all deserve a mention as well. If you think we forgot somebody, please let us know in the comments. And
Guys, do you think Non-Stop forgot anyone, or do you think that was an honourable list? I think
Yeah.
that was quite nuts, that list.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
That was crazy.
Yeah, that is some wild beatdowns. A lot of gambling debt, a lot of alcohol. Just that's wild. That's actually wild. I can't even get over that.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, I think that was a really good video by Nonstop. We're gonna try react to more Nonstop videos because he does make good content. I just like whenever we react to stuff, for some reason it just doesn't end up being his videos, but he makes good videos. So yeah, man. Any last words before we get into the next one?
Good video. Very good video. Shocking.
Very shocking.
Yeah.